Welcome back to video 2 in our series on how to create a sermon reel using DaVinci Resolve. If you haven't watched the first video and you want to learn more about the interface and how to import footage, go back and check it out. There's a link to that video in this video's description. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you need to do is have an idea of what 30 to 60 second clip from the message you want to use. What we do at Story Church is we watch the message back and take notes of phrases that jump out at us, main sermon points, and other things that we hear that we believe will make a good reel related to the central message of the sermon. Sometimes working backwards is the best thing to do. Conclusions of sermons usually make good reels because they summarize the message or really drive a particular point home. For this video, we're going to be using a clip at the end of the message. I've already cut that up so that we could save time, but I am going to show you guys how to cut up your own footage as well. So to cut the clip, you're going to use the blade tool. You can either click on the blade tool, which is right here, or you can hit the B key. So if you hit the B key, it'll bring up the blade. You're going to want to put the playhead of your video over where it is that you want to make your cut. Let's say we wanted to make a cut right here. We'll put the playhead of our video over where we want to make the cut, and then we will just click. And once you click, you can see your video is now cut into two separate pieces. So if we decide that we want to use the clip from here to say here, we just cut that up, and now we know that we want to use this clip. Now, in order to get rid of the stuff that we don't want on either side, we're going to use the arrow key, which you can click on right here, or you can just hit the A button on your keyboard, and that will bring up the arrow key. So there are two ways to get rid of the footage that you don't want to use. One is to click on that clip, that particular part of the clip, and just hit the delete key on your keyboard, and that'll get rid of it. But you notice it leaves a lot of space. So what if you want to go ahead and move this all the way back up to the beginning, or you want to move whatever is behind this clip all the way back up so that it butts against this clip? So for that, you're going to do what's called a ripple delete. Now, to do a ripple delete, you just select the part of the clip that you want to get rid of. You right click and you click ripple delete. The shortcut for this is shift delete. We're going to click ripple delete, and you notice it goes ahead, it deletes the clip that I don't want, and it moves everything from behind that clip all the way forward until it bumps into the clip that we're keeping in front of it. Now, like I said before, we already cut up our clip, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this and this because this is the part of the clip that I want to use. Sometimes when you're making cuts, you're going to want to zoom into your footage. To zoom into your footage, you are going to click this zoom slider right here. You can move it backwards and forwards, and you can see how it expands and it contracts the footage within my timeline, so that if I'm making little cuts and I want to get the exact area, I can get really precise on where it is that I want to make those cuts. Because we are working with footage that is shot horizontal, but we need to make it vertical for a reel, your speaker may not always be in the center of the frame. Be sure to watch your clip and make sure that your speaker is always centered in the frame. As you can see, ours is not. So in order to fix this, we can do it two ways. One is the manual way, and that is using these position X and position Y. So position X moves your video to the left and right of the frame, and position Y moves your video up and down in the frame. Now, for reels like this, you're not going to want to move your video up and down, but you will probably be moving your video left and right. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do this the manual way. You're going to want to put your speaker in the center of the frame right at the beginning, and you're going to want to click this little diamond right here next to position. This diamond sets a keyframe. Now, you'll notice that the speaker will still not always be in the center of the frame. So maybe we want to move him over here. Now, since I set a keyframe initially at the beginning, I can just move my position here, and when it gets to this point, this is where the speaker is going to be set in that frame. So you'll be able to see the speaker kind of still centered in the frame. Now, if you want to see where your keyframes are at, you can click this diamond right here, and that will open up, and you can kind of see where your various keyframes are. The manual way to do this is to do it that way. You go through your whole video, and every time that you see them out of frame, you drag the position and you move them back in frame. There is an easier way to do this. If you go up to the inspector, if you don't see your inspector over here, here to the right side, you can click on this inspector button up here at the right-hand corner, and that will open up your inspector. So if you go up to your inspector, you see where it says Smart Reframe. So we're going to drag our playhead back to the beginning of the video. We're going to open up Smart Reframe. Now it says Object of Interest. You have two options here. You can use a reference point or you can do auto. Auto just says, hey, DaVinci says, hey, I'm going to take the most interesting part of the clip and I'm going to put it in the middle. Now, with reels and things like that, the most interesting part of the clip typically is your speaker. So auto usually works really well for reels. And then all you need to do is click reframe, and DaVinci Resolve will analyze your video and it will move the frame around so that your speaker is constantly in the shot. Once you have your speaker framed in the shot, you may want to add a simple fade out at the end of the video or fade in at the beginning of the video. Now, since reels play automatically, a fade in at the beginning isn't necessary, but you may want to do a quick fade out at the end. So what you're going to want to do is hover over your video clip in the timeline, and you're going to take this little white key here, you're going to click on it, and you're going to drag it over, and that will put a slight fade on the end of your video. You can do the same thing to get a slight fade on the beginning of your video. Now that you've found the best clip from your message, cut the footage and made sure your speaker is always in frame, we are ready to do some coloring. We will cover some basic color correction for your reel in the next video in this series. If you found this helpful and would like to continue to learn more about how to create or enhance your church's storytelling ability, be sure to hit subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.